All right, so I picked up these supplies at the Dollar Tree, where everything is $1.25. Thought it would be fun to see how they come out. See if I can make a watercolor painting using only Dollar Tree supplies. We got some watercolor paint, some more watercolor paint. I don't know if one's better than the other, but I typically use the kind that's in a tube, just a better brand. And a sketchbook, which is the best paper they had, or I should say the thickest paper that they had at the Dollar Tree. Don't know how it's gonna react having water put on it, but I got a picture of a cute orange cat pulled up here. All right. Let's get some. All right, I guess I'll start with yellow. A little more here. I think I'm going to have to try and paint as fast as I can because of the quality of the paper. If I linger too long, I might go right through the paper. Usually watercolor paper is pretty thick, probably 10 times, maybe even 20 times thicker than what I got here. All right, I got the outline here. Gotta get some more water. All right. Next, I like to outline the eyes. Let's see, it's right about here. And right about here. This cat has got a little bit of a kind of expression in this, kind of like he doesn't want to be petted. All right, and we'll do a little bit of red here to make a pink nose. Whoops, too much water on my paintbrush. Definitely not working like regular watercolor paper, but I'll figure it out. And it's got a little bit of pink around the eyes too, and a little pink up here. He's got a little scar on his nose, and we'll give him a little pink on the ears too. You can already see the paper getting real thin. All right, I'm gonna do a little outline here for the mouth. I don't want it too dark. And there we go. Put a little water in the orange. I'm gonna have to mix some yellow with this. That's where it's going to get dangerous with the possibility of ripping the paper. it's not blending the way it would with watercolor paper. So I gotta try and blend it a little bit myself with the paintbrush. All right. In an attempt to do the cat's body as quick as possible, I'm gonna use a bigger paintbrush. Just very quickly just cover all this. This cat's got a little bit of white right here in this spot, so take some of the paint off. There we go. Paper's starting to get pretty wrinkly. Add some yellow to this. That's not too bad. Just getting really wrinkly. So I'm going to let this dry for a little bit and then I'll come back to add some more detail. Actually, let me put some yellow on the eyes first. May as well let that dry at the same time. Get some yellow eyes. And some yellow eye. All right. I'll be back when this dries. Well, it dried on the paper nice, but the orange and the yellow somehow turned a little pinkish. Oh, whatever. Let's keep going. All I really need to do now is kind of add some of these details. Oop. I started out thinking this might actually work, but it's starting to look a little not great. Check out my other videos if you want to see an example of what my regular watercolors look like, so you can compare them to this. I've got some yellow cats on there. Okay. Try and get these eyes a little darker. It's not really doing what I want it to do. It's not letting me add more paint. I'm going to let this dry a little bit so that I can add some more paint. And let's see how this white is. Even with my good paintings, I tend to have an issue with white watercolor paint, so it'll be pretty amazing if this watercolor paint actually does a good job. I usually use acrylic for the whiskers and stuff, just because it pops more. I've tried the most expensive brand of watercolor paint I can for white paint, and it still was pretty subpar. I might have put a little too much water in this one too. There you go. Looks all right while it's wet. What's it gonna look like when it dries? Who knows? I have a feeling when this dries, it's gonna be barely visible at all. Let me get a little bit of water out of that. That's just too much. Actually, let me. Nope, that didn't help at all. I thought making it a little thicker might help, but nope. Alright, I'm just going to do it anyways. Some whiskers here. Nearly invisible whiskers. This white color is just horrible. Maybe with a few layers. This might be as good as this painting is going to get, but I'll try and add a couple more layers once this dries. All right, so the whiskers, they practically disappeared here with this cheap paint. Whoop. I'll give it one more coat. Maybe that'll help. Try to make it as thick as possible here. I had to add more water because the paint had dried. But only a couple drops because I'm going to make this as thick as possible here. And don't know if this is going to make much of a difference. It doesn't look like it's going to make much of a difference, but it might. And we'll let that coat dry once again. Well, actually, add some whiskers. They had disappeared, so I almost forgot that there's whiskers up here too. I don't think this is going to help much, maybe a little bit. In order to get the whiskers to finally stand out once they're dry, I might end up having to use this entire tray of white. All right, gonna let that dry again. Well, the whiskers have almost completely disappeared again. Maybe seem just a touch better, and I don't think adding more layers is going to do much, but black paint is a different story, and I think I can improve it just slightly by darkening these lines around the eyes and the black space in between the reflections. That makes it look a little bit nicer. There we go. I think that's about as good as this painting is going to get. Hope you enjoyed my dollar store paint review.